Hello, everyone. Today I have a very special guest, different to what we've had before, I believe. And it lines up very well with our Ascension series because we're talking about spiritual gifts that people gain when they start ascending, twin flames, or spiritual people who are working on themselves. And if you remember, a few interviews ago, I interviewed someone called Ember, and she was talking about her journey. And then she also talked about someone called Becky, who is a channel who can work with the spiritual realm and give us information. And Ember read us a channeled piece about twin flames and about various other things. And Becky had very gratefully privately sent me an email with two transmissions about my twin as well, which were very accurate. So I'm very interested to hear from you, Becky. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on.
You might have to speak a slightly louder or come closer to the because the volume is slightly inaudible, but that should be fine if you just belt it out because you're calling from is are you in England, in the north of England? You sound like you have a bit of a northern accent, Yorkshire accent.
Yeah, I'm West Yorkshire, so yes.
West Yorkshire. For some reason the sound is slightly it's like very whispery. But
How
let's
is how is that? Is that any better? No?
that is much better, much better. I apologize if you have to come right to the screen or whatever you're doing, but that's much better. So let's start from the beginning, Becky. Like, did you always have these gifts? You know, how did you tap into it? Were you born this way?
No, absolutely not. So it's fairly recent, to be honest. It started a couple of years ago, but when the start for all of my spiritual journey started with my daughter. She was 8 years old and she started seeing spirit. So she was seeing ghosts and she was like talking to people in a room and all that. And obviously it's people talk about children being more open, but a lot of advice I was getting at the time was just tell her it's her imagination, tell her it's not real, don't encourage her. But there was something inside me that just knew she wasn't lying. And I was always fascinated with the spirit world, fascinating with everything that's sort of the unseen, let's say. I'm very open as a child myself, but never really saw spirit or anything like that. So, yeah, that's how it started. And she was talking openly to her spirit guide, who was called Hannah. And she explained her how she looked, how she dressed. And it got to a point where we were having three-way conversations with Hannah, like she was just an extra person in the family. And it was really fascinating. And I think that just opened me up straight away. It was almost beyond a doubt that there was other things that was going on. And as soon as that happened, a year later, I sort of went through a complete change, completely quit my job, full sort of spin lifestyle wise. And I was a very corporate person. I was a homeware buyer. So for 16 years, I used to buy homeware. And then all of a sudden, I quit. I decided I didn't need the stress. And I became painter and decorator. So I used to go to people's houses, painting, decorating. And it's very therapeutic. And it was really strange, but I started to tap into my intuition while I was doing that. And how it started with me was I was decorating the name Enoch just kept on coming into my head. So it was like Enoch, Enoch, Enoch. I was like, who is Enoch? You know, and you just like, who is
You've
this
got the
guy?
book of you've got the book of Enoch, haven't you, in the Bible?
Yes, yeah.
I don't
So
know
I
what
think
it's about. What is it? I don't know if you know what it's about. Who is Enoch?
so. Enoch was a human, and he wrote the Book of Enoch, and I think there's two, book one and book two. But yeah, he basically ascended and became Archangel Metatron.
Oh, okay. And Metatron is like one of a really like well-known archangel.
Yeah.
So were you spiritual always? Because you said your daughter started seeing spirit guides, but what age was your daughter when she started seeing spirit guides? And were you always spiritually like interested or connected? Apart from seeing the spirits, were you like into meditation and crystals or whatever?
Yes, always been into crystals. Always been that sort of weird kid that'd be like, "Have you got any ghost stories?" But yeah, always into when I was a teenager, went a bit through the sort of witchcraft route, was obsessed with tarot. Obviously nothing dark ever, but was very interested in sort of magic, should we say. But very into nature, very into sort of tapping into what I would say is nature spirits, really. So I always had sort of a sense, but you wouldn't call it clairvoyance, you would call it clair feeling. I think that's how they describe it. So it's not clair knowing and it's not clairvoyance.
Is
It's
it
like
Claire sentient?
clairsentient. Yeah, sorry, clairsentient. Yeah, yeah. So that's the one.
So, how old was your daughter when she started seeing these beings?
She was 8.
So
Yeah.
very young.
And it was literally like somebody had turned a tap on. It was like it just happened one day overnight, and then it was like she couldn't shut it off at all. So there was lots of strange things that happened. She said something to me about a tea set that I had that she said, "Oh, there's a lady that's connected to this tea set. You mustn't take it out of its original packaging." And I had done, and then she said that lady's really mad with you, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So I put it back in its original packaging. Took it to the antique shop, but when it was on the seat of the car, my dog wouldn't even sit on the seat of the car. So it was like there was somebody in the car
Protecting it.
with me. Yeah. I didn't tell her I'd taken it. As soon as I dropped it off, when she came back from school that day, she was like, "Mum, what have you done? It's so much nicer in the house. The energy's so much better." She knew it had gone. So there were things like that that had happened around the house, and you'd just be like, she had no idea, you know. And then for the dog to not go near it, it was really interesting. Like it was almost like I was getting proof, and not just sort of her telling me things, but it was like they were
Physical
this,
proof.
yeah, physical proof.
So you started working with Metatron, Enoch, right? With Enoch. All
Yeah,
of a sudden, like you left your job, and you're gonna have to speak a little bit louder because I don't know why the volume is quite muted. It's not muted, it's just less than, and I want everyone to hear because I know it's gonna be a very special interview. So then you started working with Enoch, and then what was he speaking to you? Could you see? You said you felt him, right? What was the downloads? What were the stuff? Did you have a mission now? Like, what was your purpose?
yes. So obviously I got his name through first, which led me obviously to research him. And at the time, obviously being really good friends with Ember, we sort of discussed it. She was quite in contact with other angels. So at this point, I'm thinking this is whole new thing to me. If anybody would have asked me about angels years ago, I'd have been a bit like, oh, that's a bit cheesy almost. Like, are they real? Are they not real? And I was being given proof then at this point that they were real. So when I would then, like in my head, think of Enoch or call out to him, I could even be doing something really mundane like brushing my teeth, and I can feel what I can only describe as tingles running from my feet all the way up my body to my head and back down again. And it was intense. At that point, I didn't know I could channel. It was only then that I was reading something about channeling, and I thought, I wonder if I can channel. And it literally, as soon as I had the thought, I wonder if I can channel, I started channeling. So yeah, that was sort of almost a good year after I'd heard him speak to me in my own head that I
Do
started
you think
fluently channeling.
do you think everybody has the ability to channel, or do you think or have these gifts, or is it just special, specific people?
I think it's almost just being able to align with higher frequencies. So being open and getting into a certain headspace. I mean, from the things that I've channeled, they have said that this is something that is my specialist and that I've done in other lives, and that I am adept at it, which is, again, news to me when I was channeling it. So that's really strange as well. But I did start to speak like language, and I think that's the first step. I think anybody that's tapping into light language, from what I've channeled, light language is the frequency, but without the human signaling. a frequency by speaking light language. It's just you're not bringing it into human words. So what I'm doing now is I'm channeling a frequency from the light language, but bringing it into human words. So quite often speaking a light language first, or if I'm with the channeling, the light language will come in to support it. It kind of works in tandem, some of it together. So I think that's kind of the first step because that came first, the light language. And I was actually activated by Ember with that because she sent me hers and then I started speaking it. So I think there's something to do with people that are on this path that are here with a mission and a purpose, which is to awaken the human race. And I think there's certain people that have been put here that that is their only purpose. And I think when you meet somebody else who's also been put here to awaken the human race, the codes that you share amongst each other activate other aspects of your soul and your soul gifts. So I know it's a little bit deep, but yeah, this kind of all makes sense to me now. But I mean, obviously, I've been channeling for a year now, so it sort of clicks to understand that for people that are not used to this, it might sound a bit out there, but yeah, that's how I see it.
I've got a few questions for you. I'll put the subtitles on because I don't know if it's an internet issue. It happened also with another person I interviewed recently, but yours is not so bad. It's going slightly dipping, but the subtitles are getting it all, so it's great. You talked about there's different things I want to talk to you about. What are the codes? Because people talk about this all the time. You transfer codes to your soul family, you transfer it to your twin flame, you transfer it from other friends. What code? What do you mean by codes?
Yeah, so I would call them light codes, and I feel like every soul comes with its own light codes. So I have my own light code. And obviously my friend Ember, she has her own light code. And I think they're very unique to your soul, but I think they can unlock gifts in other people. So you can be like a master key, where you have many gifts in other people through interaction, just through meeting somebody, through eye contact. And then these codes passed on. It's like finding little missing pieces of yourself through the interaction with people.
So the codes are basically passed on through physically meeting someone, or just like on the phone, or from a distance, or just by you being in your aligned truthful self. Like, how do you think they get transferred?
I think that via the phone or via a meeting like this, or even reading books that are written by people who are channeled or people that are in touch with the spirituality and on that spiritual journey. I mean, I'll often, if I get a channel book, I just put it under my pillow and sleep with it because I think that I don't necessarily need to read the book. I just know the codes are in it. Does that make sense?
Almost like an energetic transference.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm. It's like I remember when I was younger, I used to watch this cartoon, right? Where it's, I think it was the aliens, something taken over, or the someone the aliens. So basically, there's a boy that kind of crashes into this regular suburban house, and he's an alien. And the way in which he kind of like absorbs like information is just by here's a book. He'll just put his hands on top of the book, and he just like, understands it within like seconds.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's the kind of image I'm getting. So what do you mean by light language as well? What is light language?
Light language can be different. So you can speak it. So it's energetic and it's
Oh,
almost,
Becky, just 1 second. But I'm going to pause for a second if I can. Pause. So let Becky join in from her phone. And hopefully it'll be good now. But Becky, you were talking about light language. What is light language?
so from my understanding, light language is basically you're picking up on frequencies. So it's either you're um, admitting your own frequency, so you're speaking from your soul, or I quite notice if I go somewhere and it's really high vibe, it's like I can pick up the frequency of the place. So I think Camden Market was one in London not that long ago. I was in there and I was totally not in sort of my spiritual mode, but I just started going straight into light language. I was with my mum at the time, so she was a bit like, "Please don't do that in public, darling." But yeah, so I
And
think
when
it's
you
kind
when
of
you
like
have
that.
that light language, is it just a frequency or does it mean something?
So for me, it's a feeling. So I'm sort of relaying a frequency, but I know that there's spiritual people out there that can actually translate it. So they can almost sort of speak it and then translate what has been spoken straight after. For me, I think I am doing that to a certain extent because I'll do it in between my channeling. So it's almost like it comes through as light language first and then I speak, but I can't work out what the certain words are translated. It's not like there's a dictionary for it or anything, I don't believe, but yeah, it feels more
You
like
mentioned
frequency to me.
you mentioned your mum being like, don't do that. So have your family been like supportive of this or they think it's weird?
Oh, they totally think it's weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I think a lot of this stuff, we call them the muggles, sort of the ordinary folk that just kind of are a little bit stuck in a 3D, sort of bit zombie, sort of not really walking around with their eyes open anymore. I sort of call them NPC players, like they're not fully awake of what's going on around them. Um, so yeah, there's definitely a disconnect with people, but I feel like that's probably why people that are a little bit more awake are here because there's always somebody just a step behind that you can influence. So
So an
I think,
NPC is a non-player um,
yeah, non-player
character.
character, is it?
Yeah, usually they say those people don't have souls. Now, what's interesting is with Twin Flames, it is said, because I've just started the spiritual gifts section of the Ascension series, that the gifts the DF gets, the DM gets as well. But the DM is usually in the Matrix and doesn't really aware of it and is scared of all the spiritual stuff. I think it's really like out there. So
Mm.
how, like, I don't know if you have a partner, you talk about your family, but like, how do you navigate living in and working with these people who don't think it's weird, you know? Like, does that?
I think, and this is quite interesting, as I've started to channel, I get quite a lot through obviously about vibration and frequency and everything being energy. And I think that's the key message that I'm sort of sharing and being told about in the most depth. And it's about understanding that. But I think with that, obviously, um, it sort of becomes a lower vibration. So it's almost lifting people to sort of try and match your energy. But it's all also, I feel that if you're around family all the time, it's almost like they can't help but be lifted. So, like, my husband has gone through a spiritual awakening himself now. He's started to change lots of different things. He quit his job like a year after I quit mine. He became a gardener and sort of did landscape design, and he's got a property management company, but he loves just putting his hands in dirt. And I did channel about him, and it's about his frequencies and how he is literally here to heal Earth. So with me, it's a lot more about me spreading my light to others. So it's interactions, human to human. But for him, he's actually putting his light codes into the ground. So, and he doesn't even know he's doing it. Like, I sort of said this to him, and it really blew his mind, and he had to think about it. But he's like, I really love when I'm like digging. I love when I'm touching plants. I love when I've got my hands in the dirt because he's earthing himself all the time. And that's the way he transmutes probably the sort of more high frequencies that come through me as well. So it's really interesting. I think with other people that are perhaps not quite on the journey, like you said, sort of the lower or the NPC characters, should we say, it's you've kind of I just speak my truth. So it's about authenticity. So being as authentic as possible all the time. And I can't be anything but that now. It's almost like impossible to not be me. But I think when you do that, you are going to have friction with people that are not awake and that are not sort of in touch with the spiritual side. And I think it's just knowing when to be quiet and to not push your beliefs onto somebody else if they're not ready for it, because everybody's on a different stage of their
And,
journey and
and
here for
words
different things.
words come from the mind and again cannot encompass the truth of what's out there, which is non-physical and it's energetic, right? Like with the twin flames, the divine masculine, clueless when you try to speak to them anything spiritual, often it's very rare that they are evolved it spiritually. But for them, they're just speaking to a brick wall, and you could say to them, "Come back" or "Do this," and they just don't respond. They respond to your energy. They respond to where you have cleared things, where you have allowed the energy to flow freely, where you've transmuted that denser energy, and then it flows for them and clears the blockages between both of you. And it's like they are almost like a hologram that they automatically just respond to the energy. They don't even know why they're doing it. They don't know why they're contacting you again. They don't know why they're thinking about you. They don't know why they changing their career. They don't know why they're leveling up, why they're improving, why they're becoming an ascended person. They have no concept of the terminology, the words, and they don't need to. Because at the end of the day, those things kind of fall into that spiritual box that can limit us as well because it's limitless, right? So, what I wanted to ask you was, do you have any practices to help you have better your gifts, to amplify them or to ground you? Like, is there anything that our followers should be doing to help them with their gifts?
Yeah, I don't have a set practice that I do at a set time or anything like that. But I know when I've picked up a lot of things energetically that are not mine. So it's almost being really aware of your own energy and how precious your own energy is. So try not to spend too much time around people that don't make you feel good. Try not to go into places where there's lots of sort of busy places like supermarkets or places like antique shops where it might be holding energy from people who've passed. You pick up some ghosts in places like that. But yeah, you've got to just be, it's like hygiene, but spiritually. So
Spiritual
I would
hygiene.
say, yeah. So I would say if I'm ever feeling sluggish, your muggle people would just be like, oh, I'm just tired or I'm drained. But I ask myself, why am I tired? Why am I drained? And a lot of the time it's always energetic. So I'll have a bath with salts, Epsom salts. I'll sort of just need to go have a lie down for a couple of minutes, just be in my own energy, or go for a walk in the forest. That's a good one. Sort of just to sort of hug a tree. Hug a tree is always a good one. Just things like that to sort of ground yourself, cleanse yourself. Those are sort of my favourite things to do.
Thank you. So you've got some transmissions that you want to maybe either read out or channel. So I'm going to give you like
Yeah.
the free reign to talk about what you want. Tell us
Okay.
what we need to know.
Okay. Let me bring over my laptop. So I could read some of my older channelings, the ones that I feel probably would suit best for sort of the audience.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So I've got one that I channeled on the 6th of July, 2024. So this would be I started channeling in March 2024, so a couple of months after I started. Um, and it goes, I'm sorry, I'm not the best reader, so just bear with me. Yes, it is me, dear one. You are part of the covenant of light which we speak. It's where you have descended. It is I who desire to break you free from your constraints, and it is this which we have started to work on today in your time space reality. I can transcribe for you, you needn't tire. Let me begin. It is I, Enoch, that discovered that you were susceptible to change in this life. I could see you were beginning to rise from your everlasting sleep, which has been centuries, and is something that has lifted now. And it is now that we can begin to work with you to help you lift the collective. As you lift yourself, they will almost lift among you.
As you rise together, shine together as one, leaning on each other for support and guidance. And with that support from us, you will learn to grow and grow and grow as high as you desire, as wide as you envisage. You have the capacity to believe in the good overall, and you have the capacity to believe in the greater truth of the universe, which has been hidden from you. It has been hidden in the depths, it has been hidden in the sea, it has been hidden in the earth, and it has been hidden in the air. In the ground, it has been removed from sight, so you could no longer see it. But it is here, my dear, it is here. And it is ready to be lifted into the main arena where all will see, and all will rise, and all will become one. With this unity becomes many great things. With this unity becomes oneness with Source, and with the universe, and with the beings that are within and without, around and above and below. You will see all. You will see everything. You will see what has been hidden from you, dear ones. And when you do, it will be truly magnificent for your eyes to transcribe. And you will feel the love and unity, and it will be quite overwhelming at first. However, I see you will desire this more as you start to move through this portal. You will learn that you are unlimited, and that you are infinite, and that you are a multitude of many things which can capsulate around, away, within, above, and without. It is quite hard for me to transcribe. This is something which is felt and not seen. This is something which is understood and not learnt. This is something which is wise and not given to any, only given to those who thrive to become better, who desire to become free, who want to be seen in such a way they crave for this change. They feel it within their bones, within their being. So as we finish for this session, I would like to thank you for your cooperation with me. As we progress down this path together, I see you are much more capable than you realised, and this is somehow frightening to you, but needn't be, for you are here for this reason, my child. So please be calm and be cool. It's back to you now, Becky.
So when you
So
get this transmission, it's like you hear the voice or you feel and then you write, or how does it work for you?
it's hard to explain how it works because it's almost like it's so instant. It's like if I was to hear the voice and then to say the letters, it wouldn't be, sorry, say the words, it wouldn't be quick enough. So it's almost sometimes like, especially if they've got an important message, they try to download it in one drop. So it's
All in
like
one,
so it's like I'll get a whole paragraph in one energetic drop. It's the only way I can
and then you
really
write it down,
explain
or
it.
you write it down.
No, I just say it. So I'll just sort of close my eyes, put something in my ears, because sometimes I don't like to hear my own voice as I'm saying it, if that makes sense, because then I'm thinking with my human mind. And if I think with my human mind about what I'm saying, or I try and listen to what I'm saying, then the human aspect of my mind blocks the
Oh,
channel.
yeah.
It's quite hard to explain. But
But
yeah, it's almost like I'm just an open vessel and it just comes through. And if I try to understand it, I slow it down. So it's
do you
almost
think
like you've got to
do you
have
think we
trust with it.
do you think you'd be open to do maybe a message now for the Twin Flame Collective? What's going on with the Divine Masculines? What the I don't know, anything that comes. Do you think that will be
Yeah,
some? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. What I'll do is I'll go get my eye mask because it might just help me ground a little bit. And yeah, I'll if you just give me a couple of minutes, I will just see what comes if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'll just pause for a moment. So you've got your eye mask, and we're going to see what messages come out for the Twin Flame Collective, whatever's meant to
Okay.
be.
Right, so Twin Flame Collective. ゆっくりやぼこそのやってやもこえ。 Asanaye onoko yakana izana kiromoko noko izanaye. It is I, Archangel Metatron, speaking, day one. It seems we have a guest. This is different for you. Let's see. I can transcribe for you here now at this time. We speak. You dive into yet another avenue of exploration. We can only try to help you here as we speak. You will learn that there are many things for you to try and many things for you to explore. The collective is vast. Twin flames are misunderstood often. They only try to connect. They feel force, energy between them. It's often a struggle to balance, to become one. Separation is often a catalyst. Here, they try to reconnect within. These boundaries are often tight, interwoven through many a millennium. They only try to balance each other, to strive to find each other, to almost become one soul, one connection. Yet work needs to be done to balance out their energies. They can't always find in equilibrium, and often unhappy reunion can interject. They can become dislodged from one another. It's a path of resistance and can lead to many broken hearts, but we feel they can rebalance. It is within lifetimes that this struggle continues for some. It is what the soul is willing to learn, what the soul is willing to accept, to let go of, to relieve. If the soul does not move on and becomes entrapped, then this will be something they replay in other lives. When the time comes, though, and the energy is correct for them, they can join again, but it's difficult to read for the collective because twin flames is a journey which encompasses many lives, many reincarnations. It's about their growth and the right time space for them to receive. Perhaps then they will join, but this is not the case for everyone. This is only the case for those who are ready. I think that's probably, it's a bit of resistance because I'm not used to doing it, but that's kind of where I got to.
That's so beautiful and wonderful. And you mentioned that because for the collective, it depends where they're at. It's going to be different for everyone. And I was wondering, only if you want to, and so that our viewers can see, like you do, rather than collective, maybe individual readings are far more effective because it depends on where the soul is, whether it's ready or not. And at the end, we'll share all your contact details, put it all in the description so that people can have their bespoke readings. If you're willing, if you're not, it's fine. But if you're willing, I don't know if you wanted to do a bespoke one on me now to see where my soul with my one is at, and so people can see that might be maybe more useful to them. I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah, Yeah, I can try it. I think that might be easier. I'm sensing some resistance, but I think it's my mind that's interjecting here, probably because I'm not used to doing it
Because you
publicly.
you have sent me two readings before via email, which I'm obviously very grateful, and it's very accurate to where I was at and where he was at. So I
Mhm.
can only just imagine that if people would have bespoke readings with you, it'll be far more useful. But you mentioned the things about every lifetime they're trying to like find each other and resolve these things, and it is painful, you know. So over to you if you want.
Okay, let's try for you. Okay, dear one. Right, I feel like I've got a good connection now. It's almost just okay, dear one. You discuss this for Manny. He is. He is. He's currently interjecting with his counterpart. We see him within this time space reality. He must understand that he is part of a bigger collective mission as well as his own journey. He will find divine connection within this lifetime with his counterpart, as he has indeed done the work. He has indeed learned lessons and he has indeed followed his inner guidance. And because of this, he is now in a position where he can grow, thrive, and receive. This is a joyous occasion for him when he when when he feels the time is right, he will step into this role and there will be less resistance than he has previously experienced. This will help him, perhaps give him confidence to really own his true essence here. He will undoubtedly feel much more at ease, much more what's the word? Much more adapt, much more comfortable within his own soul. Um, the strive will be less, the connection will be more, and he will relax some and feel contentment at last within this time space reality. He has become much more adept at his chosen gifts and he will share this with the collective. He will help everybody. He will spread his light and his knowledge, and this will be a catalyst for all twin flames to find their connection, to find their energetic match. Their lessons will be easier, quicker, faster. They will not have this struggle as the frequency of the planet rises. The twin flames will unite easier, collecting fragments of their souls effortlessly without the struggle that was there before, without the friction. As they grow, they will unite, as will all of humanity ascend. They will also follow this path seamlessly. I think this is it for now, Becky, but thank you for this opportunity and thank you, Manny.
Thank you. Beautiful. That's such a beautiful reading. So the bespoke readings go really in detail and help you, you know. So wondering if people wanted to contact you, Becky, we'll put it all in the description, but what's the best ways to contact you?
So I have got an email. It's awakened by angels. I put it on the message to you. So if you wanted to put that in the notes or anything, and I will be doing a website as well. So that's under construction at the moment.
You said Awakened
As
by Angels at, is it at Gmail or
at outlook.com.
at outlook.com? And then also, what are your charges for a reading and stuff like that?
So if they just want a general reading on twin flames, it would be £80.
And that would be how long is it like a detailed
Would be
translation?
about 30 minutes.
Yeah, very long. Okay. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Is there anything you want to say that you want to pass on to others, or is there any lasting messages, motivation, support? I don't know, anything.
I don't know if they want me to channel again. Sorry. Let me just see if there's just something that they want to say. As we close this meeting, we would like to thank everybody for their time, for this energetic exchange. You will undoubtedly feel different after this, and you will also feel more content. As a collective of twin flames, you will feel the energy from this transmission, and this will help you align with your counterpart. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. So
Who knows, eh?
oh no, it is amazing. And everyone, like you said, perhaps has the ability, perhaps they don't, but they can connect. And if they have those gifts, to not be scared of them. And maybe they could reach out to you and you could guide them on that as well. Maybe that's something that you'll be interested.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, and I've channeled this a few times, your logical mind wants to understand it, and you want to apply reason to these things that are quite spiritual sometimes. And I think a lot of us that have perhaps had past lives and other experiences, I think there's been times where maybe we've been prosecuted, or maybe we've been called insane, or maybe we've been silenced. And I think there's some wounds around that, and I mean, for me as well, like I thought, gosh, am I actually insane? And I've channeled a few times where they've gone, you are not mad, Becky, not yet, ha ha. Like they're trying to make light of it, like it's okay. Like they understand the human mind. So I like that they put a little bit of humor in there sometimes, because I've been told the angels are very serious and strictly business, but they do like to just lighten the frequency. Like they say, when they make me laugh, it's almost like it lightens the frequency. So I think we all need to sort of take these things with joy and fun where we can, and not be too serious. I think that's the block, isn't it? Sometimes, even with me channeling today, I think when your human mind tries too hard, it blocks. They don't want you to do that. They don't want you to question. They just want you to believe. So.
And it is gifts, and it's gifts to help you and humanity, and it's such a blessing to have them. There you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.